Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial with two different lip looks at the end, and it will also double as a mini review slash first impressions for the products that I purchased during the Sephora VIB sale, which is still going on this weekend, so I'll put the information down below. Every good makeup look starts with good skincare, so I'm prepping my eye area with the La Mer eye cream. I actually got this during the Nordstrom anniversary sale in a set, and just tapping it in, and then I'm going to apply my Tatcha Camellia oil, and I love how easily this sinks into the skin. I did give it 10 minutes to sink in before I started with the makeup, but of course thanks to the magic of YouTube editing you're not going to have to wait that long. But I just smooth it on. It takes very little, and any excess I just rub into my hands, and then I always apply some lip balm. I have very chapped lips this time of year, so this is the Sugar Lip Caramel. It tastes and smells exactly like a caramel apple, so I'm a big fan of it, and it does really moisturize as well. This is an oldie for me, but I always use my Clé de Peau concealer under my nose where I have some redness, and on any little blemishes as well. After that I use my MAC highlighter. This is actually what I use as under eye concealer because it doesn't crease at all, so it's the Rose Radiance. They really mean it to be used as a highlighter, but I think it makes a really great under eye concealer if you just need a little bit of brightening, which is exactly what I need in the early mornings. And I'm just using my new damp beauty blender. There is nothing like using a brand new beauty blender. It's so clean and bouncy, and I was so overdue for a replacement, and I'm just loving using it right now, especially in combination with my new Laura Mercier foundation. I have to say I am obsessed with this new foundation. It is so weightless. It doesn't feel any different than a BB cream, but it does offer a lot more coverage, and it's just really a nice finish. It's a matte finish. It's very natural. It wears all day. The only thing is that it does take some more time to apply. You have to use a beauty blender or a high quality brush because it dries so quickly, and it needs hardly any powder, so I just use a little tiny bit of the translucent powder from Laura Mercier. I really like this. It's pretty much invisible on the skin, and I can confirm that it photographs well along with the foundation because this is the exact makeup that I wore for my Nouvelle Pearl photo shoot for my new items, and it just looked so good. Next up is the bronzer. Of course, no surprise, this is Laguna from NARS. I just bought a new one. It's so lovely not to have one that's broken, and it just blends so well. It blends like a dream, and that's what keeps me coming back over and over as I've gone through pan after pan of it. I'm using two blushes today because I'm being ambitious. So I'm using the darker Wicked, and I've been applying blush much higher up on the cheekbone than I used to. I'm really liking the natural flush that it gives. It just really keeps the center of my face looking very luminous, and then the color is focused on the outside points of my face, and I really like how that looks, especially with a brighter color like this. So I really actually end up avoiding the apples of the cheeks mostly, but I do go back sometimes with a little bit of my lighter color, which is Frantic Pink, probably my all-time favorite blush by now. I used it pretty much for a year straight before getting Wicked, and I just kind of blend out Wicked with it a little bit. These Cover FX Rose Gold drops are still my favorite. I just love how they don't disturb any powder products. You can go ahead and just blend it in with a beauty blender, and it's really subtle, but it doesn't move any products around at all despite being quite liquidy. So I really enjoyed that. And then I go ahead and set that, because you can never have too much highlighter, with my new little highlighter from Becca, and this is such a good gorgeous color. I have to say it's not really well captured on camera, but it has a slight rosy duochrome, and it's just a really pretty champagne color. It's very similar to Champagne Pop, but with a bit more of a duochrome, and I have to say it's a little more subtle as well, just in terms of how finely it's milled. And then one of the game changer products I got in my haul is this Laura Mercier primer for my eyelids. I have very veiny eyelids, very transparent, and I could wear this alone and it essentially looks like I have no darkness there whatsoever. It looks so peachy and glowy. It's very orangey in the tube, but once you blend it out, it's the perfect base color. And it means that you really need to do a lot less work with your eyeshadow, especially for an everyday look. But this is a holiday look, so we're going to have some fun with eyeshadows, and I'm getting started with my Vizart palette with the lighter colors. I'm just blending the two together on the inner eye corner and on the brow bone, and you can see how much that brightens my eyelids. And what's special about this palette is that it is all mattes, 100% mattes, which I love, but none of them are chalky, even the light ones, and they're all very, very easy to blend. So I'm combining two midtones, the peach one and the buff colored one, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a nice base in the crease by blending those two together and just buffing it right into the crease on both sides. And I just really love how little work it takes to blend that in. They're just so buttery. I really love the quality of these eyeshadows. I feel like if you love Tom Ford Coco Mirage, which you know I do, it kind of feels like an extension of that. Then I'm using my new Natasha Denona palette. This is the gold one that I got, and I'm just going ahead and tapping in some of those gorgeous shimmery colors into the eyelid. I just really like the control that using fingers offers. I know it's a little bit strange and unprofessional, but it just works really well. So I use the champagne on the inner eye corner, and then I'm using the really gorgeous bronzy gold on the outer half of the eyelid. And the most special color in the palette for sure, I think, is the lightest one, because it's a white with gold shimmer in it, and it's incredibly brightening. It packs a real punch, and it just looks so pretty on the inner eye corner. It looks like snowflakes and the holidays in the best possible way. Another really special color in that palette is the red metallic shade, because it really has a lot of brown undertones to it that allows me to wear it, even though normally anything in the red burnished family would be really hard to wear for me. And I'm just going ahead and blending that into the outer third of the eye, and it just really warms up the whole eye look and kind of gives it this kind of fiery metallic look that I really love. Then I'm taking the black color, which is just so perfect and buttery, with a pencil brush and just kind of defining the outer V a little bit, adding a little bit of extra darkness. It kind of creates an eye elongating kind of cat eye look that I'm a big fan of. I try and do this whenever I have a little bit of extra time to blend things out. So I'm just going back with the same brush that has the red brown from the Natasha Denona color palette, and just blending everything out so that it kind of seamlessly blends together and you don't have a patch of black or any kind of visible lines of shimmer and matte coinciding without being blended. Next up is my Tom Ford eyebrow pencil. This is my favorite brow pencil of all time. It's just so easy to use. It also has a great ashy undertone to it. I use espresso and a great brush on the other side of it, which honestly is one of the best parts of it, because it's so fluffy and dense and it brushes everything out really well and blends it well. And I follow that up when I want to have extra defined brows with my Anastasia dual eyeshadow powder, and I use the lighter side usually unless it's going to be a really dressy over the top event, and I just go ahead and set my work with it and then brush through my Maybelline brow gel. Honestly, I don't think I will go back to a high-end one after using this one, because it's so fantastic and it never gets on my eyelids. The brush is really well designed for it, which I really appreciate. Next up is my cat eye flick. I use a Dolly Winks liquid liner, dressy or casual. This is my signature look, and so sometimes I do a little bit thicker, sometimes I extend it a little bit further out, and that's exactly what I'm doing in this tutorial. So you can see I just kind of gradually do it. It's not like a confident line that stretches across, it's little dashes that add up together, and that gives me so much more control and just works really well for me. And I just try and keep it as thin as possible at the beginning, and then I can always thicken it up after. One of my favorite tips for a cat eye flick is to go ahead and set your work with a black shadow. It will also help to really blend out any imperfections and give the whole look a little bit of a velvety finish, which I think is really flattering. And then I'm using my Lancome Hypnose mascara, still loving that. It's so volumizing and lengthening, and I just love how it looks. It's just very similar to some small false lashes without any of the work. And for my first lip look, I'm using my favorite lipstick color ever, which is YSL's Rouge Pure Couture in the color number 4. It is a brick red. It is so perfect. I usually apply 2 coats of it for holiday events, so I do 1 coat and then blot it, and then go ahead and apply a more careful coat, kind of pressing the lipstick into the lips and adjusting anything with my fingers if I feel like something needs to be blended out a little bit. I'm also finishing it off with my Emma gloss, which is from the Buxom Holiday Collection. It is such a great kit to gift. I think it really is probably the best kit that Sephora is offering for the holidays. Great value. All the colors are pretty. This one is like an iridescent, very light pink, but because it has a clear base, it'll look good over any color and just add a lot of extra shine and a kind of plumping effect if you focus it on the inside of your lips. Then you can see me applying my perfume. I have to say, I really love that set that I got from Commodity. It's got a tea fragrance in it that is amazing. It's so wonderful. It's just perfectly balanced and subtle, but it has all of the wonderful notes of a great cup of tea, which I think is a really comforting scent. And once I've let that fully sink into my skin, I then put on my new collection. So this is the classic white set, launched just in time for the holidays. I think these earrings, especially the chandeliers, look so classy and lovely with a red lip and a classic eye look. It's just such a pretty look with a lot of sparkle to it, but in a really subtle and wearable way. The other lip look I'm going to show you is even more wearable. You could easily then get away with this whole look during the day, in my opinion. So this is 217 from the YSL Rouge Pure Couture line. It's actually part of their matte line, but it's not very matte. It's actually very velvety, and I love the plummy undertones of it. And what I did is I ended up warming those up a little bit with my Fenty lip gloss, which I also really, really love. I love the gold kind of tones in this lip gloss. I think it's actually a shade that's very easy to wear, but kind of different from anything that I own. I'm also shortening the necklace, so just doubling it up, and the lobster clasp on the necklace, sterling silver of course, can clasp on so that it holds the 2 layers secure so that one doesn't tighten while you wear it. And I just love how sparkly it looks and how festive this whole look is. I'm so pleased with everything I purchased. I hope you found it useful to see everything worn. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next installment on style.